What's up, everyone? It's Sean Evans here with the Odd Shopper, bringing you another CSGO video for tomorrow's semifinals ESL Pro League Season 16 event. We have Team Liquid versus Cloud9, G2 versus Vitality, two great series, and we'll be breaking down both of those with our favorite plays from them. And before we do get into that, make sure you do click the like and subscribe button down below, turn your notifications on. That way you always get notified when we do post new content for you. Obviously, football is this Sunday for the NFL and college football tomorrow for Saturday, so you do not want to miss out on any of that. Let's waste no more time and get into the action. So first up, it is going to be Team Liquid versus Cloud9, kicking off the morning at 6:45 a.m. Pacific time. As you can see, Cloud9 do come in as the favorites at 190, while Liquid are the dogs at 155. And looking at the spread for C9 to sweep here, it is pretty favorable for the series to go 3 maps. As you can see, it's plus odds right there at 152 for a sweep by Cloud9, which will break down even more in a second. And then you do have the over of 2.5 maps played at plus 114 odds. Pretty good odds all the way around that we'll be looking at. And with that, let's kick it off. Obviously, Cloud9, they did defeat FaZe to move on to the semifinals. Their only loss of the event so far has been versus Team Liquid during the group stages. And that's how Liquid got into the playoffs, by that one victory over them, helped them secure their spot. And now the two teams will be facing off. Exile obviously carried Cloud9 versus FaZe. He put on a huge performance. But on top of that, the entire Cloud9 team is still playing well ahead of their 3-month average for player ratings, where it makes this look like it's going to be another tough challenge for Liquid to get past them, even though they were able to do it at the group stage. This is a whole different beast right here with the semifinals for the event. Cloud9 does not seem to be missing on any step. Obviously, FaZe took the first map versus them pretty easily, but then the next 2 maps, Cloud9 was able to correct all mistakes they made, and then they capitalized on every single mistake FaZe made. So it is going to be difficult for Team Liquid to even get the upset here. But looking at them, obviously, they've already defeated Fnatic 2-1 in the first round, and then they defeated Mouse by sweep in the quarterfinals to end up here. The main thing to look at for them is Yekender. He's been the only player playing well above his player rating, which we will take a look at in a second. But overall, Team Liquid has been showing some inconsistencies coming out. Fnatic obviously took the first map versus them, and they were able to do the reverse sweep after a close encounter with being swept by Fnatic on Inferno. They were able to capitalize on it, come back, and push the series to 3 maps, and then move on, obviously, to face Mouse, where they were able to sweep them. But overall, it has been a lot of inconsistencies for them. Cloud9 is a team you don't want to make those mistakes with. But they have met 5 times overall this year. Liquid has been able to take the past 2 series versus them, but Cloud9 overall has been the better team throughout the year. And I'm looking at the head-to-head for player ratings over at HLTV. You obviously, like I said, you have Yekender, who has moved up to a 1.20 player rating. But then you have Elige, Naf, who have decreased slightly in their player rating category. Obviously, Elige can close out rounds. He can clutch them if needed to. But it's just those minor mistakes that we keep coming back to that will not be as easy to have those happen and still move on and advance here in this series. And then you look at Cloud9, obviously Exile is up to a 1.24 player rating due to his performance versus FaZe. And then you have Shuro, who's once again above his player rating, but even Hobbit, Interns, and Nafany have all increased their player rating overall for this event. And it is pretty dangerous for them. Obviously, if they get past here, then they are going to be facing the winners of the next series that we'll talk about, G2 versus Vitality, which will be even more interesting for them. Maps predictions for this, I do have them playing Ancient and Overpass, and then Mirage as a decider. Ancient is going to come down to a flip-flop of whoever can carry momentum on the CT side of things. If they're able to dominate that side, whichever team it is, they are going to most likely go on for a victory overall for this series. But I do have Cloud9 winning this overall while they are the favorites at 190. I don't want to look at the money line for them. I want to look at the handicap for them to sweep, which is at plus 152. I actually want to play a unit on that. I do think Cloud9 comes out and sweeps Team Liquid. And then I would obviously not look at the over 2.5 maps played. I don't think we see that here in this series. So the main bet that I will be looking at is Cloud9 sweeping at plus 152 odds with one unit over there at Pinnacle. But other books will have similar lines that you can get at for Cloud9 to sweep. You can also play the under of 2.5 maps at 138 odds. Just obviously increase the units, probably by 2 to 3, but I would just stick with the sweeping by Cloud9 at plus 152 odds, just with a unit play for just in case Team Liquid does somehow steal a map from them. And before we do get into that, if you have yet to check out Underdog Fantasy, do make sure you sign up using promo code STOCKTASTIC8. That way you can match up to your first deposit up to $100. That's free house money to play with. Obviously, we have NFL Sunday and college football Saturday, plus the NBA season is right around the corner, so you do not want to miss out on any of the action there. And then you could get even more tips from me in the Premium Insider Access Discord channel for myself, which I'll be posting even more slips for the Underdog Fantasy board when those numbers do go up daily for you guys. So do not miss out. Use promo code STUCKTASTIC8. That is the number 8. That way you get up to a match deposit bonus of $100 when signing up. Now moving on to the second series of the day, which will be Vitality versus G2. Obviously, Vitality comes in at dogs, which is kind of surprising, at plus 110 versus G2, the favorites at 133. For this, both teams have obviously had a clean sweep at this event for both group stages. They both went 5-0. They have yet to lose in the playoffs. G2 just had a massive win versus Na'Vi to move up 2-1 with a reverse sweep here to face Vitality, who just obviously defeated Outsiders by 2-0. And it is going to be a very high action-packed series between the two. You have Nico, m0NESY versus ZywOo, Apex. It's going to be a very fun and I'm going to say pretty drawn-out battle between the two teams. And so with that, obviously you see the odds for this map being 3 total maps played at plus 109. And then you obviously have the sweeping upside for G2, which is pretty juicy at plus 201. Overall, I don't think neither team has the upside to sweep here. Obviously, G2 has, besides versus Na'Vi, they've swept every opponent they have faced, but this is going to be another tough battle. And just like we saw with Na'Vi, we saw them, make some struggling moves here and there on maps to allow the other team for Na'Vi to stay in it. I think it's going to be a similar situation here with Vitality. Vitality, like I said, has yet to lose. That's mainly because ZywOo is holding a 1.44 player rating. He is once again being lights out for his team. He's carrying them all the way to the deepest playoffs that they can run at right now for the ESL Pro League event. And then also on top of that, versus G2, they have taken every series but one so far this year, and every single series has gone 3 maps for that. So that's why it's most likely going to be a 3-map series that I want to look at here for the odds at plus 109. I do think they go 3, and I think it's going to be a very big battle between the two. And then when you look at the G2 side of things, the main thing is going to come down to the play of Nico and m0NESY once again. Nico has moved to a 1.30 player rating. m0NESY is obviously up to a 1.28. They keep matching each other's skill set on every single map. That's why they paid the big bucks to bring m0NESY from the Na'Vi Academy camp to their team to have a true opper for them to go alongside Nico, and obviously with Hunter. So this team is looking on the upside of things, and this would be a huge win for them if they are able to get past Vitality. And now on over to HLTV, looking at the side-by-side things, obviously both teams have 4 of their 5 players improving in their 3-month average. Like we said, ZywOo's at 1.44, but you do have Magic's now up to a 1.15. Spinks is up to a 1.13. Not too much better than his average, but he is still contributing every single round. Apex is almost at the 1.0 player line. He has moved from 0.92 to 0.97. Dupree has taken a step back, and that is a huge part for them. If he gets things on track versus this G2 team, then they could take it from them and a 2-1 victory. But then you look at the G2 side of things, you have Nico at 1.30, m0NESY at 1.28, And then you have JKS, who made a huge impact versus Navi by moving up to a 1.14. Hunter did hit back to his average line of 1.11, and then Hooksy has moved up to a 1.01 after that series versus FaZe also, which is pretty big because the guy can't really hit a shot to save his life. And obviously, we don't expect him to make a huge impact. But if he does show up here and Hunter shows up, then the upside of G2 sweeping could be even bigger. But overall, we want to stick with the over of 2.5 maps played. And then looking at the maps predictions, I do have it going to Inferno, D2 or Dust 2, my apologies, and Vertigo. Vertigo would be a huge map if they do get to it. Both players or both teams have players that do excel on that map, but it will be a pretty fought battle between the two. And that's overall, I do think it leans to the side of G2 taking this and moving on to face Cloud9 for the grand finale of the ESL Pro League Season 16 event. So that is going to be it. Make sure you do sign up at Underdog Fantasy using promo code Stochastic number 8. That's number 8. And make sure you do hit the like and subscribe button down below. Turn the notifications on. That way you always get notified when we do post new videos for you guys. That's it. I'm out. Good luck.